Hello, my name is Abbe. I'm a physiotherapist and Pilates instructor, and today I'm filming a standing Pilates warm-up session. It's a little bit more challenging than some of the others because this one has a particular focus on balance. So, as always, we're going to start with a good postural position. So we start with our feet about hip width distance apart. Our knees are soft, so just a little bit of bend there. Pelvis is in neutral, so we have that little rock backwards and forwards to find your midway, and we settle there. We're going to think about shoulders, so we want those shoulders gliding down and back slightly. Head is lifting up like a helium balloon, so we're thinking about that distance between our ears and our shoulders, and we're keeping that nice and wide. We're going to relax through the chest, and we're going to get those core muscles working now. So we lift the pelvic floor, and we pull in on those lower abdominals. Now to start with, we are going to warm up the upper half because it helps with balance if we're moving nicely everywhere else. So we're going to float the arms up with those core muscles working, as if we're holding a big beach ball in front of us. And we're going to take a breath in, and then we exhale into arm openings. Eyes follow that leading hand, and then inhale back, and the other way. Exhaling out, and inhaling back. So we keep the arms slightly lower than shoulder height. We're opening up through the chest each time we extend the arm back. And we're trying to keep the pelvis pointing forwards. So we're making sure that we're not twisting the whole body. The movement's happening in the upper half. We'll do one more. And then we'll bring the arms back to the center and float them back down. And we're going to go into the corkscrew now. So keeping those core muscles working, we take a breath in to come up with the arms and exhale to the back of the head. We inhale to bring the shoulders up and exhale to drop them low. Inhale to reach and then exhale back down. So keeping the core muscles working, it's in and out, in and out, in and out. So we're making sure that as the arms come up, we're always keeping the shoulders low. The only time they can come up is during this shrug. The rest of the time they have to stay anchored nicely down. Now we're making sure that as the arms come up, we're also keeping the rib cage down. We're not allowing it to flare forward. Even during the shrug, it stays nicely anchored down towards our hips. We're going to do two more. Lovely. Okay. We've got the shoulders nice and loose now. We're going to think about the upper back and getting it a little bit more mobile. So we're going to interlace our fingers. We're going to imagine a shelf at mid-thoracic height, and we're going to be flexing the upper back over that shelf. So keeping the lower half in neutral and nice and still because you've got those core muscles working. We take a breath in and exhale to curl over that shelf. Push out to 90 degrees. Take a breath in and exhale to the top, eyes following the hands. And then inhale out to the side as you draw your shoulders down and back. And again, interlace, push down and out, breath in and out and in. So keeping those core muscles working all the way through, feeling that stretch between the shoulder blades. Eyes come all the way to the top so we get a proper extension through the upper back as well. Making sure the lower back stays in neutral, so we shouldn't have any arch in that lower back in addition as we come up. Let's do one more. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to do some shoulder rolls, so just loosening out the shoulders. So we're going to inhale up towards the ears and exhale down and back. So we feel a real connection to those muscles between the shoulder blades on the way down. Big exaggerated circle, still keeping the core muscles working so the lower half is nice and still. We'll do one more. Lovely. Okay, so upper half is nice and relaxed now and loose. Now we're going to bring the heels together. So we're starting on that little balance challenge. We're going to do some heel raises here, but without separating the heels. So I don't want to see an air gap in between the heels. To help keep them connected, I want you to squeeze your glutes. Your bottom cheeks need to be engaged while you do this. You're also going to get your core muscles working, so pelvic floor, lower abdominals, hands wherever you need them. We're going to take a breath in and then exhale to lift the heels without getting an air gap in between and control it back down again. So it's exhaling up and then inhaling back down. So nice and controlled in both directions. Trying to get equal propulsion off each leg. So you're coming right up the center, we're getting equal work through both legs. So nice and high. If you're finding it too much of a challenge, you can bring your feet closer together, so there's less of an angle there and it makes it a lot easier. Or if it's too easy and you're not wobbling at all, then take your feet out even wider to make it a bit more difficult. All right, we'll just do 2 more. Last one. So you should feel it through your calf muscles, feel it in your bottom now as well. Okay, now we're going to keep the angle on the feet, but we're going to separate the feet out a little bit wider, so just a bit wider than hip width, and we're going to come down into a little partial squat. Now we're going to keep those core muscles working, and we're going to pop hands on hips. Now the idea with this one is a plie. We're going to try and keep the upper body nice and upright, so we're not leaning over to the side while we do this. So you're going to have to shift your weight all the way over one foot, and we're going to release the other one. So we're going to lift 5 times. 2, 3, 4, 5. So it doesn't have to be a big lift. We're going to come down again and over the other side and again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So nice light touch on the floor while you do the lifts. And again. Okay, we're going to do that once more each side, and on the 5th lift, we're going to hold it for 3 seconds. So keep those core muscles working to help you. 3, 4, 5, and hold. 1, 2, 3, move down and across. 4, 5, and hold. 1, 2, 3, and then back down again. Well done. Okay, now we're going to come back to our hip width distance apart feet. So we want our feet together to start with, toes out to the side, heels out to meet them. That's a nice way of making your feet definitely hip width. We're going to have soft knees, pelvis in neutral, shoulders down. So thinking through your posture, get your core muscles working. Hands on your hips for this one. We're going to do the foot series. So when you're ready, we take a breath in and we exhale to come up with the heels and down with the knees. Then we inhale to bring the heels to the floor and back up. So it's heels, knees, heels, knees. So we want to keep the legs parallel. We want to make sure that those ankles stay pointing forward, so it's easy to flare them out to the side with this one. So we make sure that most of the pressure is under the base of the big toe as you come up, so on the inside of the foot rather than the outside, and that stops you flaring the ankles. Now you can come deeper to make it more challenging. So a little bit deeper into the squat, really push the heels to the floor before you come back up. So you can adjust this depending on what your balance allows, how much flexibility you've got on your ankles. And we're going to go the other way now. So now we come down into the squat first, lift up the heels and push up, and then back down again. So again, you're exhaling through the first 2 movements, inhaling through the second 2 movements. We'll do 2 more, nice and deeply if you can. Last one. Okay, well done. All right, we're going to do the little balance sequence. So I want you to bring your feet a little closer together now. Now you can do what you want with your arms. It's going to be more challenging to keep them on your hips. If you want them out here for support, that's absolutely fine. So we're going to do a little sequence. We're going to do 4 times on each leg. We're going to get those core muscles working to start with. Now we start by pointing the toe out in front of us, and then we take the leg out to the side. Then we bring it forward again. We're going to flex the ankle and pull that leg through, squeezing the bottom cheek, and then we're going to repeat that movement. So it's point and out, forward, flex, and through. So we're going to do that twice more. Now I want you to keep your pelvis pointing forwards. Make sure you're not turning the whole body as the leg comes out to the side. We also want to get a nice squeeze on the bottom cheek as you come through, so you're getting hip extension rather than leaning forward. Okay, we're going to change sides. So again, get yourself organised, re-engage those core muscles and point out, out to the side, forward, flex, and through. Squeeze the bottom cheek, stay nice and upright. So make sure you're not leaning forward when the leg comes behind you. So it's really hip extension, the squeeze of the glutes that's going to help it go there. Now if you find this too challenging, obviously you can slide your foot on the floor or tap it down at any point you need to. Okay, so now we're going to do, excuse me, clamps level 3 in standing. So this can be done in different positions depending on what your balance is like. So in its best form, if you can, you're going to have your foot behind the knee and you're going to start in that position. If you need a little bit more support, you can have your foot behind the other foot so it's in contact with the floor, or even out here so that it's more achievable. So whichever you think is appropriate for you. I want you to engage those core muscles. We find your start position. We're all going to squat down on that supporting knee a little bit, regardless of where your other foot is. And then we're going to bring that leg out to the side and then back in. And that's the movement we're going to repeat. So we exhale out and inhale back in. So make sure your pelvis is pointing forward as well, so we're not, again, turning the upper body or turning the pelvis as the knee comes out. So it won't go very far. There is a bit of a squeeze on the bottom cheek as you take the knee out as well, so that we get as much range as we can. We're going to do 2 more on that side. Keep those core muscles working, remember. Okay, last one. Lovely. Okay, and then we're going to bring the foot back down again and we're going to change sides. So engage those core muscles again. We're going to bring the foot into position wherever that may be. We're going to squat down on the supporting leg and then we exhale out to the side and inhale back in. So when you're doing this balance work, it might be worth just staring at one spot that's nice and still. Make sure you're not looking at anybody else who's moving around. So you'll find now if you lose those core muscles, if you lose the contraction, your balance goes a little bit. So we really do need to try hard to keep it going. Let's do 2 more. Last one. Okay, well done. All right, feet back down. So now we're going to do the walking series. So we want our feet about 1 inch or 2 apart, so not too wide. But we do want to think about our weight distribution now. So let's pop hands on hips to start with. Knees are soft. Pelvis in neutral, shoulders down and back. I want you to make sure you've got equal pressure on both feet. Now, we're going to try and maintain that while we lift one heel. So I want you to make sure you haven't just shifted your weight onto the straight leg. We're going to keep it halfway between the two. And we're going to keep it nice and equal while we change legs. So we're alternating simultaneously. As one heel comes up, the other one goes down. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to keep all the movement in the lower half. So the pelvis should be nice and level. We shouldn't be head bobbing up and down if at all possible. And we're keeping our weight distribution right down the middle. So we're not shifting left to right. Now when you've got that under control, and it's nice and slow, we're going to add in the arms. So opposite arm and knee coming forward together. And once you've worked out which way around that is, I want you to make sure you're also standing nice and upright. And we want to make sure that using the arms hasn't just started making you shift your weight either. So again, still trying not to head bob, trying not to shift left to right. We're leading with the thumbs and we're going to bring the arms up a little bit higher until we come all the way up into toy soldiers, where your arms are coming all the way to the top. All right, then for even more of a balance challenge now, I want you to see if you can do this with your eyes closed. So we're just going to do a few more, trying to keep that little sequence going and keep the balance. 1 more each side. Okay, you can open your eyes again and we'll come back out of that position. Good, okay. So we're going to separate our feet now. So back to hip width, knees nice and soft, pelvis in neutral, shoulders down and back, head lifting up. We're going to do the dumb waiter now. So I want you to tuck in your elbows, palms up to the ceiling. Okay, we're going to take a breath in and then exhale, drawing your shoulder blades down and back slightly and inhaling back in. And again, exhaling out and inhaling back in. So you can see we haven't really got any work happening through the front of the body. You're nice and relaxed through the chest. You're thinking about keeping a big distance between your ears and your shoulders, but you're getting a little bit of activation in those muscles between the shoulder blades as you glide the arms out to the side. All right, now we're going to add in a heel raise on the next one. So we carry on with the shoulders, but we come up with the heels and then inhale back down again. So nice and simple heel raises, but making sure that we're keeping those ankles pointing forwards. So again, most of the pressure under the base of the big toes as you come up. All right, we're going to do 1 more, and then on the next one, we're going to add in the Cleopatra as well. So this time, we come up and out, but we can also come even further and over over, in and down. And again. So out, up and over, in and down. We're keeping those shoulders nice and low still. So if you need to, you can bring your arms a little bit lower when you bring them to the side. They don't have to come all the way up to shoulder height. It's however far you can bring them up without starting to shrug the shoulders. Keep those core muscles working. Ankles pointing forwards. We'll do one more. Lovely. Okay. All right, so let's relax the shoulders again. Shake out the legs if you need to. We're going to do some roll downs now. So we think through our posture again. Knees soft, pelvis in neutral, shoulders down, head up, engage the core. We're going to work on articulation of the spine now. So we're going to take a breath in and then exhale to drop chin to chest. And then start rolling through the body as you articulate your spine down. Your knees stay soft, your weight stays forwards on the balls of your feet. Now you're going to hang heavy and loose through the shoulders. Let them really feel relaxed. Let your neck feel nice and floppy and relaxed. And then we're going to straighten one leg. So you're locking out one knee, and then you're going to soften that knee and you're going to straighten the other one. And you're going to gently alternate from one to the other. So you're staying in the center, you're making sure you're not leaning left to right, but you're straightening a leg, holding that stretch, and then changing. So we're getting a nice stretch through the calves and the hamstrings. We're going to soften both knees now. Take a breath in, and then exhale. Tuck underneath with the tailbone and roll yourself back through the body, articulating all the way up, shoulders down, and head up. Now we're going to do one more to get down onto the floor with. So we take a breath in, and exhale, chin to chest, rolling through. But this time you soften your knees as much as you want to and as much as you need to get your hands onto the floor comfortably and come down onto your knees. And we're going to finish there. So now you're down onto the floor, ready to start your mat work class. Thank you very much for joining me.